This is the lightweight gold medal bout. Romallis Ellis of the United States out of Ellenwood, Georgia, against Orzubek Nazarov of the Soviet Union. Ellis is 20 years old. The Soviet fighter is 19, and Ellis, a southpaw, had to put on a good third round to make sure of his semifinal victory, and had to beat another Soviet just to get to the final.
And Don, you know, in talking to Roosevelt Sanders, the boxing coach, before tonight's finals, he said we've got two excellent chances to win gold medals. Arthur Johnson, I think, will win. He said he'll be the favorite, and Romallis Ellis is the other one that I expect a gold out of. Parker White will have to fight for his life to win a gold. He said, but Romallis Ellis, I think, could pull a little upset here.
Well, he is unfortunately fighting the bronze medalist from the World Championships, Nazarov, one of the most popular Soviet boxers. Might well have gone on to the World Crown, had a lot of bad luck in that World Championship on judging, and we've seen some questionable judging here. So to make sure, you know what Ellis has to do, he has to make 3 rounds very effective and very aggressive to catch the judge's eye.
Also, the coach says Ellis has a bad habit, amateur-wise, of trying to be a counterpuncher, and you cannot win a lot of your bouts. You must be active. You got to take the offensive and keep your punches active. And when you're a counterpuncher, you usually get behind.
Well, the man in the middle, the referee, Roderick Robertson from Great Britain, wants to make sure the judges are all set at ringside. Checking with both corners. They've got a problem now on the Soviet side. They want the Soviet handlers both to come up on the ring apron. And we're going to have a little bit of a delay here before we get this underway.
Well, what a comeback Romallis Ellis. We thought in his semifinal match against Yuri Savochin, another Soviet, he was way behind and came up with a great third round to come back to get to the final. So Romallis Ellis from Ellenwood, Georgia, has got a shot.
They're making an announcement, I believe, about summoning other boxers from other weight divisions to an upcoming medal ceremony. That's the way it appears, and as a result, that fine edge has to hang for a while for Romallis Ellis and Orzubek Nazarov of the Soviet Union.
He's the 1984 European Junior Champ, so he's a youngster also, 19, but he's been boxing professionally for 9 years, I guess you could say. Started off when he was 10.
Yeah, that's what it amounts to in this country. So they're finally ready, and they send them into the lightweight gold medal match. Romallis Ellis from Ellenwood, Georgia. He is a southpaw, and he does have a good jab. What a jab does for you, apart from setting things up and keeping your opponent at bay, scores a lot of points, Paul, in amateur boxing, because the jab's as good as a knockout punch, and the judges make their scoring.
Both southpaws.
And he gives him a good right hook there. He changed his lead, Romallis Ellis did. But Nazarov is a tough customer. He's got a looping right hand that comes in and lands the side of the head of Romallis Ellis.
Romallis has really worked on his jab since he arrived here, and he really has improved it.
Now the Soviet jabbing with his right, another southpaw. Ellis with his, exchanging that, trying to follow with a second heavy punch, and Ellis got one through. He bangs to the body, misses with a wild little right hand with the hook. A minute gone in the first round.
The Soviet's a good boxer, I'll tell you.
Yes, he is. Takes a chopping left hand from Ellis. I'll tell you, Romallis, not the least bit undone by Nazarov in his obvious menace and confidence. Good right by the Soviet. Flicks that jab out again on the face. A looping right missed. Left connected for Romallis Ellis. Comes in with the uppercut. Good variety of punches by Ellis. Mixing them well here this first round, which is halfway through.
Nazarov's a big favorite here. Not against Ellis, but what I'm saying is a big favorite of the crowd. They love him. He stopped the Pole in the third round. Then he beat a Mongolian easily in his first match.
And he's starting to score now. And he's mixing his punches, jabs, hooks, even the uppercut. Another looping right hook comes through. That scores on the head of Ellis. Ellis looking fairly strong for the first minute and a half now. Into the final minute of the round, as Nazarov begins to take a little edge.
And as Roosevelt Sanders said, he's got to stay busy. I think he may have been a little bit ahead for the first minute and a half, but it's changed around, Don, as you said.
Yeah, the trend is changing. He's not nearly as busy. He's not getting to Nazarov as easily as he was at the outset of this bout. The Soviet with both hands scoring almost at will, getting through the defense of Ellis. He's holding his gloves high enough most of the time. Fires a hook at the jab there, though. The Soviet responding with the right to turn him around.
The Ellis has got a nice combination, 1, 2, 3. Then he stops, and boy, you just must keep him going, and then come back. Many more combinations by Nazarov.
He steps well with the right hand. He's got a pretty solid left hand to bring too, and does now. But Ellis scoring with the left hand. Just 6 seconds left in the first round. This is the lightweight bout. Ellis swinging wildly now, gets hit as he turns the back of the head at the bell to end round 1. Romallis Ellis getting ready for the second round of the lightweight gold medal bout against Orzubek Nazarov of the Soviet Union, who dominated him late. We now understand the delay is prior to round 1. At the protest of the United States, the North Korean judge was removed, and a Bulgarian judge took his place at ringside.
Well, the North Koreans, anytime we have a North Korean judge, we've only had 1 round awarded American by a North Korean judge, and the wisely it was protested, and they did remove it.
The Bulgarians there with a Soviet, an American, and judges from Ireland and Denmark to decide this one. But right now, Nazarov of the Soviet Union gaining momentum against Romallis Ellis of the United States.
Last minute of the round was
he chucked his hands there, a heavy hand, but he's talking for an open glove from the referee from Great Britain, Roderick Robertson.
I was going to say the last, I think the first round we'd have to give to the Soviet, 20-19.
But Ellis, with plenty of heart, keeps on coming here. Roosevelt Sanders, the coach of the U.S. team in the corner, telling him stay busy here, but it's so tough to stay busy with accuracy against Nazarov. A heavy-hitting lightweight. He doesn't waste many punches, Paul. He's on the money with a great many of them.
He's got the counter after he throws his left hand. He seems to stop after he throws that left hand out.
There's the jab again from the Soviet southpaw in the face of Romallis Ellis from Ellenwood, Georgia. In the second minute now, approaching the halfway mark of round 2, and the Soviets scoring more freely. Make no mistake, Ellis has made his presence felt as well. There's a little blood now from the nose of the Soviet boxer is appearing. That could make his breathing a little difficult as he fights from a counter-punching position back to the center of the ring with 1:15 left in round 2. Good left hook thrown by Nazarov.
There is blood on the face of the Soviets.
See more of it now.
I really can't tell from our vantage point, Don, whether it's from the nose or it looks like it's a cut on the cheek.
Might be one of each.
And I tell you, if it's a cut on the cheek in an international competition, that's a little dangerous, and they could stop it.
Nazarov fighting angry now and mad with that blood. 50 seconds to go on the round. It does look on the right cheek like there's a source of it there.
If it's a nose, usually it's not too dangerous, but if that's a cut.
Yeah, the nose is more bothersome than anything else, usually. A little over half a minute to go. Nazarov, though, despite his problems, still scoring very well. Ellis having difficulty getting to him with consistency, missing with a lot of punches. Might miss with 2 or 3. The jab comes up short there. Then hit 1, but he's got to get those combinations crisp. Loses out on that exchange. Comes on to the Soviet, but Nazarov backing up is connecting as he goes.
Yeah, he throws 1, 2, maybe 3 in a row, but after that he stops, and then the Soviet counters.
He's got the combinations that Ellis would love to see going, and right there is another example of that. Good scoring blows by Nazarov of the Soviet Union. Late in round number 2 here. The face of the Soviet is bloody. There is the bell to end the second round. Here's the third round. Romallis Ellis fighting for the lightweight gold has got to let it all fly here against the tough Soviet, Orzubek Nazarov, who dominated certainly in the second round after a slight edge in the first. It'll take a big round, I think, here, Paul Horning, for Ellis to pull this off.
Well, the situation's the same as the semi. Ellis trailed by this much and came up with a big third round to win it over another Soviet, Yuri.
He's doing the same thing here. He's coming on with a real flourish in the third round. More blood coming from the nose of Nazarov, the Soviet boxer.
I couldn't tell where the cut was. He had his back to it.
This looks like a nosebleed now to me. Nothing on the cheek.
Well, if it's a nosebleed, it's not too serious.
Let him go, Ronaldo.
A little annoying, that's about all.
Unless it was my nose.
That is serious. Well, we're seeing a good bout between these two. We have seen just about everything here in Moscow. Excited crowds, quiet crowds, but mercifully we have not seen the wave of the Goodwill games.
Beautiful crowd on hand. About 18, I guess, 18,000. Just beautiful.
Good stiff right, and the following left by Nazarov. That's what he was doing, tattooing Ellis coming in, and he's doing it again here in this third round.
I tell you, both fighters have taken some shots here in these 3 rounds.
These are lightweights, 132, but packing a lot of power with these punches. Approaching the midway mark of the third and final round, of course, when it goes to decision, the crucial round here in amateur boxing. It was released but close, but Nazarov again counter-punching. Ellis is trying to give it all he has here, but having trouble getting to this man, who stands back and tees off on him as he comes in.
Well, he throws that combination, 1-2 punches, and then all of a sudden Nazarov comes up with that left, and it's been landing.
He's so accurate, too, and he does respond.
Look at this. Right there. He's wide open.
Hitting with power, authority, and consistency. The Soviet missing there, one of the rare occasions.
And he's tired, too. Now see what Ellis has got. Doesn't look that tired now. Got a little breather, didn't he?
Second win. He's just 19. Both in superb condition, of course. Less than a minute to go on the round. When you throw as much as they do, you still have to be tired nonetheless. Something big will have to come from Ellis here to pull it off, I think. Although you never know. Goes to the body, can't get to the head. The hands of Nazarov block his attempt to go high. Soviet, a very complete-looking boxer, takes a stiff right, then a left. Then they go inside and mix it up. The referee, Robertson from Great Britain, sends them back to it again with 35 seconds to go.
Well, Romallis is giving it all he's got, Don.
And more.
Soviet's tired. He's just fighting on guts. He's lost his style. And see what Ellis can do. He's still on the tip of his toes. You can see, look at this Soviet busy with these punches.
That's what counts for so much. You can't question the heart of Romallis. He's given it all he has here, certainly in this third round. But the opponent is oh so tough as we have seen. 10 seconds to go now to the end of the lightweight bout for the gold medal here at the Goodwill game. A couple of game backers shooting for the gold. They'll take it right down to the final bell. And there it is.
Good fight.
Dandy. And we will be back with the decision from the 5 ringside judges. Romallis just bit off, I think, a little bit more than he can chew there against Nazarov, the tough Soviet.
And his nose is being cleaned up. He's okay. We thought it might have been a cut underneath one of the underneath his eye, but it wasn't.
Such a busy boxer.
He really was.
So hard to get to with any kind of consistency.
Well, it would have been a good upset. Nazarov actually the favorite. We've seen a lot of things, but I think the edge has got to go to the Soviet.
Here's an example of what happened now. There was the right hand coming out from the Soviet southpaw, the long looping left grazing Ellis there. Ellis pawing at it, but taking the worst of it as he came on. The counter-punching got stronger from Nazarov.
Got a USA judge, a Soviet, a Bulgarian, a Dane, and Ireland.
North Korean
judges.
Removed just prior to the match. The protest of the United States was upheld. A man, as you said, Paul, who had given the U.S. 1 round in the entire tournament so far. You don't think there were politics in amateur judging? Well, you saw an example right there. Overall, though, the decisions have not been outrageous here. Questionable in some cases. Bad decision for the American boy from Buffalo earlier.
Vernon McGriff.
Yeah.
He was the one I thought won the fight outright. Got it taken away.
All right. Mr. Robertson will indicate to us which is the winner.
The Russian.
Победил Orzubek.
Almost got away. Strong around him.
Orzubek Nazarov by a margin of 4-1 defeats the game Romallis Ellis and becomes the lightweight champion here at the Goodwill game.